But right now, from the Calhoun County Land Bank, it's Krista Trout-Edwards. Good morning, Krista. It's nice to see you again.
Good morning. You as well.
When we talk about the land bank, I'm not sure we all know exactly what we're talking about. I mean, you're not like the rich banker with the money falling out of his pockets on the Monopoly card, right? You're
No.
a different kind of banker, sort of, right?
Yeah, definitely not that banker. We are a quasi-governmental authority set up to manage, challenge, abandoned, and vacant properties throughout the county. So we have a separate 7-member board, and we work throughout the county, but most of our properties are located in Battle Creek and Albion, and then the urban townships.
When you say a quasi-governmental authority, does that mean you're kind of government and you're kind of private, or what?
It means that we are not a fully formed county department, but that we were created through an intergovernmental agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little different.
Yeah, and like, you know, I used, of course I'm old, but I would watch the Beverly Hillbillies, and the banker Milburn Drysdale would salivate over getting more depositors and more money in his bank, and Jed Clampett's 63 million and all that. It's kind of the opposite with you guys. You just as soon not have anything in your bank because that would be better for the community, right?
Right. So most of our inventory comes through the tax foreclosure process, and we get whatever's left over at the end of that. So residential properties, commercial properties, post-industrial sites. So some of them we're able to put in the programs that we have created to help manage those and get those properties back on the tax roll. And we work with lots of partners and do lots of collaborations to carry out that work.
Right. That's the object, to get them back on the tax roll so that instead of just being, in many cases, blighted eyesores in the community, all of a sudden now we're repairing those properties and we're getting tax money into the county treasury.
Correct.
Yeah. And like, for example, a great program that I like is, you know, a lot of times there'll be a terrible blighted house that's been neglected for many years next to a nice house, and we finally get the thing torn down, and but then you have these vacant lots that are kind of an eyesore too, and nobody knows what to do with. You've been able to actually offer those at pretty decent prices to the homeowner next door.
Absolutely. That's called the side lot program. So we sell them for $200 plus a deed recordation fee. You have to be in good standing with your taxes and your code department, but we do sell them through the side lot program. We also adopt them. Some folks do gardens, some folks just want to beautify. So the Polish National Alliance does a beautification on Michigan Avenue every year, and they just go out and plant flowers and take care of that space.
Yeah, my thought was gardening right away. You know, a lot of times, you know, people would like to have a vegetable garden, and there's no place to do it, you know, but for $200 you could have a lot right next door, and that would be just one option, one of the many things, you know,
Right.
Place for the kids to play, fence it in for the dogs.
Yep, so some folks do build accessory structures on them, some folks fence them in. If you adopt, you pay $25 and you can use that property and maintain it for the summer. And then if you decide to purchase that property through the side lot program in the future, we would apply that adoption fee to the cost.
Now, I'm sure the county has quite a few properties like that that have not been bought or absorbed, that basically the land bank still owns. You know, they've been raised, they're vacant lots, or yeah, and they require some maintenance. That's you know, and we hate to see that going in the other direction where you actually have to pay to maintain these properties, but we do. But you've got an interesting program to kind of make it a win-win for the community in maintaining these properties.
Yes, that's called the Neighborhood Mow and Maintenance Program. So groups can sign up to maintain 20 properties through the mow season. That's basically May through October. It's 10 mows through the season. We pay a stipend at the end of $3,000 to those groups. Last year we had 400 lots maintained through that program from local organizations.
400 lots. So if you sign up, you're in charge of 20 properties, and you got to mow it 10 times. So that's
Every 3 weeks.
every 3 weeks. Okay. Yeah. And so you were talking about what, mowing how many times? 300 times, 200 times?
Yeah, something like that.
So
Yeah.
200
So
mows, and you get how much?
$3,000.
Wow. I'm thinking about maybe church groups or
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of different clubs that need a little bit of money for their treasury.
So we have a lot of churches that mow for us, and some of them actually do some training with the youth groups and things like that. They use it as sort of a job training thing, and they go out and they mow every week, every third weekend.
Wow.
And it's pretty cool. It's growing and taken on. Some of our organizations have taken it on within their organizations and created something special for themselves as well through that program.
What are the stipulations to qualify for the neighborhood mow and maintenance program?
Well, you have to be a formed organization with a separate bank account, so a group that has its own bank account and fiduciary, and then you get insurance to do the program, and then you just go through the application process, and you have to make the commitment to do the mows.
Yeah, I could see there'd be a lot of ways to do it, but if you had a big enough group, you could probably find 20 members and say, okay, you're in charge of this one. You're in charge of this one, so 1 or 2 properties that you have to mow 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, good way to get a little exercise too.
So yeah, that's funny. We do have a group that does that. They have a core members who divide up their list, and they go out and they do talk every year about the exercise that they get from committing to doing those mows. And then we have other groups who just do it with a couple of people, and then we have the groups that work with their youth groups in their churches.
Excellent, excellent. Are there forms that have to be signed for liability and that sort of thing? And are there age restrictions?
Yeah, so if you go on our website, calhounlandbank.org, you can find the neighborhood mow and maintenance application. And then you go ahead and you fill that out and you submit it to our office. If you have questions, you can give us a call at 269-781-0777. We do a kickoff meeting where we do liability release forms. We also show a video, talk about what you might encounter. So if you encounter, trash on the lot or some other obstacle, we have them call us, we take care of it, and they go back out and they mow it after we've taken care of that. So we do a big kickoff meeting. When we plan the routes, we make sure that they're close, so you're not traveling all over to do your mows. You want to be in the same neighborhood, within the same street system, basically. So we have them go out, check out their mows before they start, and connect with us if they have any questions about that.
Have you had enough to cover all the 400 properties that you have to mow in the county?
We have had enough. Yeah.
Wow.
Last year it was getting tight though.
Yeah, but so you could always use more.
Absolutely.
But that's really great. That that's an expense that it would cost a lot more probably if you had to contract it with professionals.
Yeah, we do a mix. We do the neighborhood mow and maintenance, and then we also use contractors, in part because we don't want to send groups that are working under the program out to properties with structures on them. It's it's a little less safe, so we want to keep them on the vacant residential properties.
All right. And is there a deadline for applying for this?
March 15th.
Oh, so you need to do it right now. You've got a week or so, 8 days to get your application in. So if you haven't thought of this before, get on the horn and or your Facebook page or whatever, and start talking about it with the members of your group, because this could be a way to put $3,000 into your treasury by October.
October, yep.
Yeah. Probably. Now, does it get paid out at the end of the year? How does that work?
It does get paid out at the end of the year. So you mow, you submit a spreadsheet that shows that you've mowed, and we do some random checks throughout the season. And then at the end of the year, we throw a party. Last year we did a game night in a taco bar, so we could make sure we celebrated all the folks who participated in the program.
Oh,
so
wow.
We do that, and it's pretty fun.
I think it's a great idea. I like to see that kind of stuff. So, and we're talking with Krista Trout-Edwards of the Calhoun County Land Bank Authority. We're talking a little bit about the neighborhood mow and maintenance program. There's another thing we wanted to get to today, Krista, the Transform This Home program. Tell us about that.
So that's a program where folks who are interested in buying a house from the land bank can purchase a residential structure with a rehab plan. They have a year to do the rehabilitation of that structure. We go through that before they purchase the house. And when we do the listing for that program, we actually include a safety inspection from the local code office so that they know what they need to do to get an occupancy permit for that structure.
I see. And as far as buying the house, is there help to actually buy the house, or is this program just to help make the repairs?
So up until recently, folks had to finance that purchase themselves. We had a lot of cash sales. And what we wanted to do was find a mortgage product to pair with that program.
Hmm.
We thought that a 203K loan would work. It turns out it wasn't a good match. So we started working with Chemical Bank, who's just created and released a mortgage program for people who are interested in purchasing a house under Transform This Home and living in it at the end, so they can get a mortgage to buy it and do the rehab.
Oh, great. So now there's a package to do it all. So if you're looking at a moving into an apartment with pretty high rent, but you've always wanted to own your own home, this could well be a great option.
It could, and Transform This Home is pretty flexible. So we've had folks that have purchased it and done a lot of the repairs. We've had folks who have had some materials available, so they've had a different, they had different skill sets and they were able to make the program work. Under the mortgage, though, you would have to hire contractors to do the mechanical, the electrical, and the plumbing, and that would be overseen by Chemical Bank. But it takes some of the hard work out of it for folks who maybe don't want to take on that part of the repair.
Sure, sure. Now, as far as the funds available to help with the repair, I mean, how much are we talking about here?
Well, most of our houses are priced, they're not high price. That's why 203K loan didn't work. They sell anywhere between $5,000 and $30,000 typically.
Mm-hmm.
They are on our website, calhounlandbank.org, under properties, and then they're listed with Troxel Realty. So Troxel is the realtor that's contracted with us, and you can give them a call or you can go on our website anytime and
Okay.
take a look at properties listed under Transform This Home and see if there's something that looks like it might be a good fit for you.
Yeah, and typically, as long as a home has still had a roof that doesn't leak, it's repairable.
Yeah, so one of the early partnerships with Chemical and Transform This Home is they provided some grant money for us to go in and do some interventions in some of these houses. So we do some of that work. We might do some repairs. We always clean them out, and we might do a structural repair if needed. So we have repaired some roofs over time. We don't always do that. It kind of depends on what's available and what needs to be done. So it's kind of a program that we address each house as needed.
It sounds like a great thing. I mean, you take a property that really isn't worth a ton and doesn't cost a lot, so the bank doesn't have to fork out a huge loan, and then they're gonna get help renovating it, and that home is all of a sudden gonna probably double in value.
Right. So
At least.
yeah, these are homes that we don't want to demolish, that we think are salvageable, and we want to encourage owner-occupied buyers. So that's really why we were working with Chemical on this particular program. Under the program, it is a 7-year adjustable rate mortgage. So whatever your interest rate is when you purchase the property, after it's set for 7 years, but then it can go up or down by 2 points. So we talked with Chemical about that. And their goal is to get folks into the houses, build some equity, possibly improve a credit score, and then in year 5 or between 5 and 7, you would refinance that loan into a fixed rate mortgage.
So there's another great possibility. Someone who's had a rough time with credit in the past may be able to use this to actually boost their credit rating.
Yep, you need to have a credit score of 620.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you need, and then it's a 3.5% down payment. And Chemical does require that you attend a homeowner class, a buyer class.
But 3.5%, if you're buying a house that's only, 20 grand, that's $700, right?
Right. So it would be the acquisition plus the repairs. So it would be 3.5% of that total cost.
Yeah.
And so you're going to figure that out when you do the rehab application, and my team is going to review that and make sure that it makes sense, and then Chemical would review that as well. So
Okay.
we'll help you through that process.
So if you're buying a house for 20 grand, but you figure it's going to need 20 grand in repairs, now it's going to be 3.5% of 40,000.
Correct.
But still $1,400 you could get in. I mean, a lot of apartments places you're going to need to put down close to that.
Yeah, you're going to need to put down it's usually a month rent and a half month for the deposit.
Sure. And you could own your own house, and for people who have a knack for doing a little bit, some painting and cleaning and a few things like that. That sounds like a really great plan.
Yeah, we are super excited about it.
So how does it work? Obviously, all the details are up on your website, but what's like the timetable, and what do we need to do in what order to make this thing a reality?
So you need to find a property, take a look at it with Troxel Realty. In Troxel, you can reach them at 269-441-8184. And then if you just have questions about the mortgage product and you just want to do a little research, you can contact Michelle Kappen at Chemical Bank. Her number is 269-965-9348. You can just go to our Facebook page too. We've got a flyer up there. We've got it on our website. Michelle wanted me to mention she doesn't keep typical banker hours, so if you call later in the evening, she'll take your call. So if you have questions, just reach out. We'll be glad to walk you through the process.
Sounds great. Before we go, what's going on at 26 Fremont?
26 Fremont is our Labor of Love project. We did a lot of preservation workshops there last summer. This year we want to paint the exterior of that. We have the paint, we have picked out a historical color palette, but we need to repair the wood on the outside, and that's going to be rather costly. So we're going to do a fundraiser there on May 1st, a May Day fundraiser, and we are getting all of the details for that together right now, and we'll be releasing that soon. But that's our big project there this summer, is to get that exterior repaired, painted, and we're also looking at doing a couple of classes.
Great. We'll have you back, and as soon as you get the details, let us know, and we'll talk more about that next time.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Krista Trout-Edwards from the Calhoun County Land Bank Authority. Some good stuff going on in our community.